There are many strange and crazy things going on in this world. If you regularly watch American movies, you will see scenes of violence in prisons, classic prison escapes, small spaces for inmates wearing orange shirts. But there's a place in the world where prisoners are said to have a happier life than outside. So, where is that? I'll suggest to you. This is a country in the Nordic region. In July 2021, the country has passed a law which can fine or even imprison celebrities and influencers on social media if they edit photos and don't have clear captions and post them on social media sites. It will cause misunderstandings with the community, and they will have legal troubles in this country. There was once a prisoner who committed a massacre, but he sued the prison for refusing to upgrade his gaming machine. The prisoner can also choose games to his liking to relieve stress. The country we're talking about here is Norway. Norway is home to the child-faced assassin Ole Gunnar Solskjær, the home of the striker Erling Haaland, and it's also home to the strangest prison in the world that we are about to talk about. First, let's talk a little bit about the security and crime situation in Norway. Norway has a very low crime rate. Strictly speaking, in such a developed and affluent country, ordinary people don't have much incentive to commit crimes. More notably, Norway has an extensive social safety net, including pension benefits, and helps prisoners while they are in prison and after their release. Norwegian prisoners receive a daily allowance of $7.60. This money, they can save or spend shopping in prison. Now the main part. I would like to introduce the only 8-star prison in the world. This prison is a place where prisoners have a happy life like in heaven. They don't even want to get out of prison anymore. Halden Fungsel Prison is known as the only luxury prison in the world. Simultaneous, it's also the most modern prison and the most humane in all Europe. It has even been dubbed the typical prison of the world. The prisoners once brought here, they didn't want to go out anymore because their lives were taken care of from material to spiritual. Halden isn't a typical prison for Norway. It's very special. It's built with a completely different mindset, on a 30-hectare plot of land in a small town, and located in the middle of the fjords of southern Norway. Some Danish architects were hired and used their talents to build this prison. If there were no walls around it, no one would think it was a prison. Maybe they'll think it is a hospital or a school, built from wood, steel and stone. The windows don't have bars, no surveillance towers, no barbed wire, and no electric fences. Halden Prison also has no surveillance cameras. Corridors, cells, factories don't have camera. And even the guards didn't carry guns. Halden Prison was built in the 90s of the last century. It was completed in more than 15 years, and was put into use in 2010. The total cost of completing this prison is about $250 million. In the words of the architects, because they didn't want the prisoners to feel constrained, they especially planted some more plants on the walls when building this prison. The total area of the prison's vegetation area is up to 4,500 square meters. However, the glass was still made of unbreakable materials, so the prisoners couldn't escape. This prison has about more than 200 prisoners. About half of them commit violent crimes, including murder and rape. Perhaps the most surprising difference, it was the relationship between the guards and the inmates. Each guard was in charge of 5 to 6 prisoners. So, why do they have to build such a prison? Because in Norway, there is a concept that life in prison isn't different from life outside. They want inmates enter here to feel like they don't have to be away from their families. And when they return, they will be easier to integrate into the community. Prisoners here will be able to work, pay taxes, have a family, like a normal person. Guards will communicate with inmates through meals and community immersion programs. For example, a breakfast normal day. Inmates are served eggs along with vegetables, salads, orange juice, coffee. All prisoners were on the same diet, and they ate with the prison guards. Every 10 to 12 cells have a common living area. It's like a living area of an ordinary house. If the prisoners don't like the food served by the prison, they can buy other products in the prison shop. This store looks like an ordinary supermarket, with a wide range of products to choose. In addition, each cell here is equipped items that make prisoners feel most comfortable. A cell equipped the most basic items include television, refrigerator, some other electronic items, even a game console. They also arranged large window panels to let the sun shine into each cell. This is a comfortable prison, like a hotel, with no shortage of any kind of household equipment. In this prison, there are also churches, gyms, and libraries. In addition, cooking and music classes are held here, to help prisoners have the opportunity to learn some skills, and some professions. The prison even has 3 recording studios, for musically gifted inmates. A whole community must participate, to help prisoners become better citizens. So, there are doctors, priests, teachers in the prison. They work in the community, which is also familiar to offenders. For prisoners, they also have to get used to the community. Life is not different from the outside. Only one thing is not to go out. Most of the prison guards here are women. And especially, they don't have any weapons on them. The Norwegian government believed that if the guards were armed with too many weapons, it would inadvertently give the prisoners a sense of intimidation and coercion. There's even a distance between people. Each inmate sent to the prison was given a survey ballot. This ballot is to probe their level of satisfaction with the quality of the prison. Besides, prisoners can fully have their suggestions, helping to improve life in prison. But it must also be said that, no matter how comfortable, Halen is still just a prison. There are angry prisoners, sometimes they need to be isolated. However, even the quarantine area is very different from other prisons. In the quarantine area, there are paintings in a large garden, can be seen around the buildings, which will help them relieve their frustrations. Nearly all the prisoners here praised this prison. This is considered the best place that society can provide for criminals at this time in the world. And perhaps for hundreds of years later, humanity can't find a better environment. According to a survey in 2005, only 20% of prisoners who had been incarcerated in prisons in Norway had to return to prison after 2 years. This is one of the lowest rates in Europe. This place is a symbol of the Nordic countries' view of prisons, when harsh punishments don't have effect on human reform. Instead, they believed that prisoners should be treated humanely and kindly, to create opportunities for them to reintegrate into society. But it must also be noted that, why did Norway do this? Because not every country is qualified to provide such environments for prisoners. Simultaneously, not all societies are humane enough and willing to treat criminals humanely. For a prisoner to have a comfortable life in such a prison, the Norwegian government had to pay a total of £98,000 for an A-class prisoner for 1 year. Thank you for your interest and following the tour of the most happiest prison in the world. If you find it interesting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Now, goodbye and see you in the next sections.